tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, excuse me, on Saturday, Alaskans are going to be celebrating Ted Stevens Day. And I would like to just make a few comments for the record. As I travel around the state, whether I'm in Fairbanks or down on the Kenai River or up in Bethel, down in Ketchikan, everywhere I go, I am reminded of my good friend and the friend of so many in this body, Senator Ted Stevens. It was nearly 2 years ago now that we lost Uncle Ted to the tragic plane crash in Southwest Alaska. But as tragic as that was, I always stop to remember that that tragedy struck while Ted was doing what he loved to do most, which was enjoying Alaska's great outdoors, going fishing, just being outdoors. His passion for Alaska's unique wilderness, his love for fishing, his immense affection for the outdoors really embodies the spirit that we're now advancing in Ted Stevens Day. And the motto of this day is get out and play. And so on the fourth Saturday of July, we joined together to celebrate the life and the legacy of a man who's really dedicated to public service, whether it was his days as a pilot in World War II to the 4 decades that he served with us here in the United States Senate. He began working in Alaska long before statehood. When he came here to Washington, D.C. to represent us in the United States Senate, he began a battle for our state that lasted for 40 years. He fought for roads, for buildings, for infrastructure that new young states need, as well as many of the programs that are in place today that continue on. And he worked to transform not only Alaska, but really the rest of the country as well. It's somewhat coincidental that this Ted Stevens Day coincides with the beginning of the 2012 Summer Olympic Games in London. So as Alaskans get together to get out and play this weekend under the midnight sun, there's going to be 530 American athletes who will begin to embark on a 17-day Olympic journey that Senator Stevens helped to pioneer. It's because of legislation that he championed that the Olympic movement in the United States exists as it does today. Back in '78, he fought for the passage of the Olympic and Amateur Sports Act. This was later renamed the Ted Stevens Olympic and Amateur Sports Act. In his honor, it was declared the U.S. Olympic Committee the centralized body of all Olympic activities in the country, and ultimately led to the creation of national governing bodies responsible for the oversight of each individual Olympic sport, a structure that is still in place now. He really was so much an inspiration to the progress and to the development of the Olympic movement here in the United States. Earlier this month, the U.S. Olympic Committee honored Senator Stevens as a special contributor to the class of 2012 U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame. And we all know that Senator Stevens was also a huge proponent of Title IX. I think he would be very proud that for the first time in American history, Team USA is comprised of more women than men. I think that would give him a smile. But this feat was made possible by the landmark legislation passed 40 years ago, which opened those gymnasium doors and leveled the playing field for women and girls across country. In Alaska, we very often say that Ted Stevens was larger than life. And today, discussing this, bringing this up, recognizing that on Saturday we're going to continue a tradition of remembering a man who loved Alaska with a passion. And as we go out and bike and hike and fishing, I think many will share good memories of an amazing Alaskan, an amazing man, and truly an amazing American. So I thank you for the opportunity to speak for a few minutes about a subject that should hopefully bring a smile to many of us. Thank you, Mr. President, and I yield the floor.